Hello, YouTube family. Greg D, aka the DCUO Gingerbread Man, back here with another DCUO video. You guys had said that you wanted to see a nature loadout as of late, so here we are with a nature mites sort of supercharged spammy loadout here. So, disclaimer as per usual with any of my videos, loadout wise. Not saying this is OP, not saying that this is meta. Um, just something that I'm currently testing out, working with. If you want to try it for yourself, fine. If you want to shit on it, that's fine too. I'm always open to suggestions regarding these loadout videos, just to kind of learn more about the game myself. Fine tune things, tweak things, but just remember that it's all about having fun within the game. So, uh, first things first, what I'm using for my artifacts. Now, I've been playing around with these quite a bit, and basically trying to use what I have at 200. So what I have is Eye of Gemini for our supercharge, because obviously we get the buff. Regarding the supercharge, we get the Pollux' Gaze, and then we get the extra damage there. Once you hit a supercharge, we have Omega, which is OP as far as might artifacts go. Transcard, Quizlet for the extra supercharge help, and then Sinestra's Ring, which is another pretty much kind of like OP might artifact at this point. I don't have anything like Candle or Ebon. Would this probably be better if I did have a Candle or an Ebon and throw those in there? Probably, but I don't have those. So like I said, I'm using what I got. So um, as far as allies are concerned, because I am using a supercharge, Constantine, as per usual, is my uh, combat ally. I personally like having him here for buffing not only myself but my teammates in any kind of content, alerts, raids. Just personal preference there. You can use whatever you want. I mean, General Zod is a good one for combat ally. You could, if you wanted like AoE damage, you could go like Shazam. Uh, so, whatever. I am using Poison Ivy as one of our support allies here because she is nature based, using empowering spores there. I don't have her leveled up very high, as you can tell. So obviously, she will help you more so the higher you have her leveled up. Also, using Flash for the supercharge help there as well at level 8. He gives us 10% supercharge back. I played around with Gorilla Form. I've played around with Primal Wolf Form. And I've played around with like Neo Venom. And Neo Venom seems to be kind of like to me at least, seems to be the most consistent way that I can get a decent amount of damage. So for the loadout itself, from left to right, it's Harvest, Spore Pod, because obviously I put through Spore Pod in here just because it's perfect for nature. It's nature based. Spring event. It was Poison Ivy. Perfect, right? If you don't have Spore Pod, you could easily throw in something like Voracious Plants. You could easily throw in something like uh, Swarm, for example. So just keep that in mind. We have Omega, we have the Neo Venom boost, Serpent Call, which is our supercharged generator in our power interaction, and then Briar. I guess technically you don't need two power interactions here, but in playing around, this seems to be the most consistent way that I can get a decent amount of damage. Now, I will say that in my testing, nature is probably, at least for me and the artifacts that I have, the setup that I have, nature is probably on par with sorcery. Not as good as rage from what I've tested, not as good as ice from recent testing, not as good as atomic either. Um, but it is probably on par with sorcery. So just something to keep in mind. And then what I'm basically going to do is I'm basically just going to go. We're going to start here with our power interactions, then go left to right. Obviously, you want to pop Omega as soon as it's fully charged. Um, Neo Venom boost being a 5,000 supercharge, you shouldn't have too much problems charging it. The only problem with Neo Venom boost is you're waiting for a cooldown a lot of times. But I mean, this loadout is really simple, really easy. It's just sometimes you're just waiting for cooldowns. So without further ado, let's just get it. Literally all I'm going to do is that as soon as something pops off of cooldown, I'm just going to keep going. Now you will notice that Omega doesn't have any issue getting charged up quickly here. And you pop your Neo Venom boost, you get the buff from Gemini there, that's what I was trying to say. Now, ideally, you would like to have Omega fully charged while Neo Venom boost is going on, but sometimes, as we know, just playing, that doesn't necessarily happen. So there's a 20 million hit right there. I wasn't even really getting that consistently in Primal Wolf form or Gorilla form, if I'm being quite honest. So Neo Venom boost is where it's at least for me, what I can tell. But again, the only problem is you're not really having too much trouble actually charging it. It's more so just waiting for everything to cool down. So yeah. So there you go. I mean, you can hit between 15 and 20 million, and that's without any trinket pets or anything like that. So now what we'll do is we'll do the same kind of thing. Actually, let's get Neo Venom back up here. Let's get Neo Venom back up here. Again, really simple, really easy. The only problem is you're waiting on cooldown. Now, could you technically, swap out Voracious Plants in here to maybe go a little faster? Sure. Because, I mean, if we really wanted to see here, watch. So what we could do is we could swap out Spore Pod for the Voracious Plants, and that could be your spam move, basically. So let's just see, out of curiosity here. So if we go boop, boop, and then that way, you're not waiting as much on the cooldowns, but you can kind of roll through. Boop, 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 waiting. Popping your Venom, and then you're doing your thing, and then you're popping. So, I mean, it's pretty similar, and I guess it just depends on what you really want to go for here. But, I mean, the damage between using Spore Pod or Voracious Plants is probably pretty similar there. It just depends on how fast you want to go. I will say, overall, though, if you see that, consistently, Spore Pod, I think, does consistently more damage. But, it is what it is. All right, so let's go back to where we were. But doing it that way, I mean, we're hitting consistently right around 13 to 15 million. Again, not great by any means, but not terrible. And don't forget, that's without any kind of buff or anything like that. So if I do this, for example, let me see. So if I swap out thing here, and if we go full buffs, right? So let's get Venom boost up here. Okay? So if I pop my pet, my thing, and then Neo Venom boost is the first thing I pop. That was a little slow on my part, but there's a 20 million. I'm going to have to try this again with Alpha Voracious Plant. I feel like Spore Pod might be a little bit more consistent. So 19, I mean, you're right around that 20 million marker. So essentially, we're in the 13 to 15 million range So there you go. That's what you really want to do. You want to have Neo Venom boost, then Omega, all at once there. That's where the real damage is. That's where you're going to get the real damage there. So with this, I mean, yeah, you're between 13 and 15 million. Normally, with all your trinket pets, you're probably averaging closer to around 20. So again, it's not great. It's not. It's just not. Just being honest. But is it super simple and super easy? Yeah, absolutely. So one last thing. Let's try this again with. I want to try this one more time again with Spore Pod. Let me get Spore Pod charged up here. Get Spore Pod charged back up here. Get Spore Pod charged back up here. I want to try this again. Put a Spore Pod in here instead of voracious plants here. I want to get Venom boost back. Well, you see, even like this, even with, as you can tell, with voracious plants in there, as opposed to the, see, you can easily. Seems like you're hitting more damage with Spore Pod in there as opposed to voracious plants. Yeah, I can hit close to that 20 million just by myself without even doing the trinkets or anything. So if you hit it just right. So let me let everything reset. Let me get Spore Pod. Come on, damn thing. Come on, you damn thing. Let me get all my buffs back out. We'll try this again. But we'll see what we can hit with Spore Pod there instead of voracious plants there. I'm trying to get my super charge up. There we go. Super charge. Super charge. Super charge. Super. There we go. Let's wait for our zombie henchman. And then we'll try this one more time. I feel like this can probably hit better with 20 million than 20 million if you hit it just right. But, so let me see here. The other option that I have that I've tried is putting Tantu Totem in there. Tantu is more of a hybrid artifact, obviously, but in my own testing off camera, I've done better damage with. I've done better damage with. All right, let me get the buff here. Well, let me wait till Constantine gets his circle out here. Okay, then we're gonna pop the Venom. Pop. We're gonna pop, 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 pop. Now again, ideally you would want Omega fully charged here, but. See, 21 and a half. See, so there is more potential there if you get it just right. There definitely is a lot more potential. And now Omega's hurting itself. So 21, 22. So okay, so with this setup, you're probably in that 15 to 18 million over 10 seconds. 20 to 22 with all your buffs and your trinket pets and everything. So again, it's not on par with Rage or Ice or Atomic from our previous recent testing, but it's not terrible either. Like I said, it's probably on par with Sorcery. So again, it's middle of the road. It's not great, but it's not bad. I mean, if you are someone who wants like a more themed build, like you want to just play with nature, I mean, this isn't bad. Compared to when I did this kind of testing with nature last year, much better damage than it was last year. But that's all I got for you. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to conclude this video right here. I should probably mention too, I don't think I did, but here's where you want your skill points for might based. Critical attack chance, critical attack damage, everything else in might, and then I just threw my extra 30 into precision. You could obviously throw these anywhere you want, but I just threw them into precision. But with that being said, I'm going to stop rambling. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more. And until next time, see you soon.